that is, if you're like most entrepreneurs, you have that initial stroke of luck, the initial stretch of success in your business. But at some point in time, you reach this feeling of really feeling stuck. You've reached like the end of what you know what to do next. And you know that you're wanting to continue on your path to growth and your path to scalability. But what you should do next is so incredibly unclear. And you've been around the block a time or two enough to know that what you do next matters. And so you're taking this time, you're being considerate, but you're also finding that you're being frustrated because you're impatient, unsure about if this next thing is actually going to be what can take your business to the next level. Well, howdy everyone. My name is Leslie Hassler. I own Your Biz Rules, and I am the host of the Grow, Profit, and Scale giveaway that we are hosting starting February 14th through February 25th. And if you went in on that, I highly, if like anything I said at the beginning of this video rings true for you, that you're not sure what your next step should be, you know you want to grow or scale your business, but you just need to figure out what to do next, then you're going to want to take a part of this gift giveaway that we're doing. And so if you're interested in that, you can at any point in time during today's video, just type giveaway into the comments and we'll make sure that you are in and that you can take advantage of what we have to share with you. And what we have to share is over 35 amazing gifts from contributors across all sorts of subject matter. So what's really interesting, this is our second Facebook Live, kind of bringing on some of those contributors so you can learn a little bit more. And one of the things that one of our contributors said in our first live session was, you could put together an entire business plan with these gifts. We've had so many people talk about, man, these are so high quality, top notch gifts that you've put together. This is amazing, professional. So why would you want to miss out on that? So you don't. You want to get in on it with everybody else that's taking advantage of that before the 25th. Because once that day comes, then the door's shut. And then these free gifts just get put back on the shelf until some other time that it makes good sense. So I don't want you to miss out on that. I want to tell you a little bit about who we have joining us today. We've got three amazing gifts that we've got going on. I'm just double checking a couple of things real fast, and it looks like we're good. So we have three amazing gifts. We've got Diane Helbig, we've got Carolyn Shadrach, and then Layne Lyons, who will all be joining us today. So just to tell you a little bit about who these people are, Diane is our first guest that's going to come on board. She calls herself the Chief Improvement Catalyzer. So I can't wait for her to be joining us here just very shortly. And she's got a planner, and this actually has been a really popular gift for people to grab as part of the gift giveaway, and that who doesn't love a planner? So she's going to share some of her strategic genius with us here just ever so shortly. And I am just double checking, seeing that everything is looking good on our end. So many screens to check when you're doing, live videos and making sure everyone's being able to get in. Looks good there. Let me just check with my team, make sure I'm not doing something wrong, which totally could happen. I see Kimberly is watching us now. Howdy, Kimberly. It's nice to see you. Good to have you here. I am just going to double check that I've got all my ducks in a row. But yeah, so we're waiting on our first guest to get here, and so it should just be a minute. What I'm going to do, guys, if you can bear with me, is go over to our quick screen for my team. Just make sure that I am doing everything the way I should be doing it. Because, I have been known to make a mistake a time or two. So, Okay. Yeah, actually I got on a little early, so we'll have some people here just shortly. So what we're going to do is I am going to find my proper screen, get back over to you, and talk a little bit about what we learned yesterday in our first live session. What we saw, we had three of our contributors. We had Gina Tassinelli that came on. She had a great magnetic video content creation series for you. Gina actually works with me, or I work with Gina on a lot of our social media, the videos that you see every week that we produce. So I think she's got an amazing gift that she is sharing there. We also had Kristen Robinson come on. And what I love about Kristen, so Kristen I've known probably for 8 years. And she really has an amazing ability to help build community through your email lists. And if you are building a business and having some level of online marketing is a part of your strategic plan, your marketing plan, then you know that if you're doing great video like Gina was teaching us, the whole next step is to help people join the right people join your email community so that you actually can build relationships. And that's one of the tricky challenges. In fact, one of our guests today is going to talk about some of this for LinkedIn, right? Is the tricky challenges is being in social media, but also creating a system that helps you develop relationships, and ultimately offer solutions to the right people. So Kristen Robinson kind of talked with us a little bit on that concept of developing an email community. We've got Carolyn Shadrich with Core, I believe it's Core Story Branding, who's going to be here today and is going to talk about LinkedIn and how to actually create a content generating or a client generating system using LinkedIn. And I loved what she shared with me a couple weeks ago. She goes, really what this free gift is all about is not just working within the system, but having the system work for you. So that's going to be real fun. She'll be joining us about the 5 o'clock hour. And then Layne Lyons. Now what's so cool, Layne Lyons is a guest today. She's out of Hawaii. I talked about we are really touching all coasts with our show today, making sure that we're bringing you the best that we have to offer. And so Layne's going to be joining us from Hawaii. I'm so jealous of that today because it's a wind chill of 27 here in Dallas, Texas today. And I imagine her weather's much nicer. So it's likely her view. But really what she's going to talk about is protecting your business. And that is really something I believe it's one of those points of scalability, which is why today's conversation is all about scalability. But it's one of those points of scalability that is super crucial for you to think of. Right now, when you're figuring all things out, when you haven't quite made a commitment or landed on the right things, maybe you don't need a trademark today. But when you've landed on something, when you say, this is my flag that I'm going to stick in the ground, it's ever so important for you to get your business protected. And so she's got a lovely little checklist, but she promises us that she is not the stick in the mud lawyer. So I'm really, that she's a disco ball in her office. So I'm really looking forward to having her on and really being able to bring home that value for you. So we're, one of the things I want you to know about growth and scalability. So the giveaway is called Grow, Profit, Scale. And there's a reason that it's called Grow, Profit, Scale. And if you're interested in the giveaway at any point in time, just type giveaway in the comments. My team will take care of you, get you access into the amazing gifts that we have. But here's why this concept is important and why that order is important. Because people every day get growth and scalability interchanged. Like I'll be talking with a brand new business owner who maybe is still working on getting their first clients, and they're talking about scalability. what they should be thinking about is growth. So growth and scalability are two different stages. They look a little different, but the confusing part is you can go through a period of growth, then move into scalability, and then go back into another period of growth. So it's not a linear relationship. You don't do growth for 5 years and do scalability for 5 years. Typically, you bounce back and forth with them depending on where your business is. So what growth looks like is, I consider this where we lay the foundations, when we're getting our marketing message nailed, when we're developing our sales system. That's one of our gifts. We have several people talking about sales, either in your offer, or how do you follow up, or how do you use social media to sell. So the sales element, it can be a very foundational part of your business. How you deliver to your clients, the reliability of your service, that is a core foundational thing. Team comes into play. We actually have a fabulous gift out there about hiring your first employee. But team comes into play. Usually it starts at the tail end of growth and really becomes important in scalability. So that's why grow is first. The reason that profit is second is because as a service-based business, listen in. I mean, like, get your notepad out, write this down. Here's a truth bomb and a half. As a service-based business, you cannot make up in volume what you lose in margin. And that's really what profitability is. So the goal, if you are growing a product business, is to get to a minimum viable product. Okay, that makes sense. You've probably heard this term before. In a service-based business, though, your goal is to get to minimum viable profitability. My earring just dropped right off. I'm going to kick it out of the way so don't step on it and break it. But minimum viable profitability, right? So what you're trying to do in this area, after you've gotten some good growth foundations, is make sure you can be profitable. That should be your next stage. It's a bit of shoring up the structure, a bit of, if you've got a leaky bucket, filling the holes. That's a key component of getting ready to scale. And here's why that's so crucial. Because revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is queen. You have to have enough revenue to generate enough profits. You have to have enough profits to generate cash. If you've ever ended your year and had your accountant go, congratulations, you were profitable, and you're looking at your bank account going, yeah, where's the money? You're like, where's the beef? That's a profitability issue, all right? That means we have to work on that next. And then you can get into scalability. Now, the nice thing about scalability is that's where you get your exponential returns. It's where you're maximizing things. You've made all these investments, these foundational kind of investments into your business and growth, right? Now you want to actually be able to get it to scale and be able to maximize that. So I am so super excited that we've got our first guest who's kind of coming in. Diane, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring you on. You're going to laugh at me. So let's get Diane up here. There we are. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. So you're going to laugh on me. I actually started early. I was so excited about today that I started early.
Great.
So we can start early, right on with it. So howdy, everyone. If you haven't noticed, we've got our first guest with us. And our first guest is Diane Helbig. And I've known Diane for a little bit. We've actually run in a few similar circles. And so I had the pleasure of being on her podcast, which is a wonderfully highly rated podcast. It's called Accelerate Your Business Growth. And probably one of the best conversational podcasts I've seen or listened to. So I really do enjoy it. But Diane is the author of Succeed Without Selling. And as I mentioned, the host of Accelerate Your Business Growth podcast, also a member of the Newsweek Expert Forum. So I am imagining you've got so much to share with us. I can't wait to hear. But I want to kind of allow you to introduce yourself, tell us what you do for people and how you help.
Well, thank you. And thanks for including me in this great program. So I basically do business advising for small business owners and training for business owners, professionals, all levels, all sizes of companies around things like sales, customer service, leadership, time management. Those
The
are the
biggies,
heavy hitters.
the biggies, right?
Yes, exactly. Right.
Well, and I was telling our listeners earlier that your gift has been very popular in the gift giveaway so far, right? And part of it is because it's a bit of a calendar, a bit of a planner for people, and those are really important tools. So, talk to me, like what were you seeing happening? What were you seeing happening for your clients and people in business that said this is a problem that needs fixing? What was that problem?
So the problem was that small business owners have a tendency to want to do a whole lot of things all at the same time, which doesn't work. So, and I'm guilty of it too. You know, we have all of these things, and then we have our personal life, and we're carrying around a to-do list that's really, really long. So I thought, okay, wait a second. This has to change. And so I created a silo system so that we could get very specific
Yeah.
and very structured around and focused really on, okay, these are the things that have to do with this this project or initiative or whatever. These are the activities that need to happen here. These are the ones that have to happen here. And then the big thing people weren't doing is putting those activities on the calendar.
Amazing. So let me ask real fast.
Yeah.
Does silo stand for something?
It stands for specific itemized lists of objectives.
Ooh, that sounds very fancy. Very
Yeah.
fancy indeed. But what you're sharing with us is actually really simple, right? It's be focused,
Yes.
be dedicated, like
Mhm.
finish what you start, and get it on the calendar because your day to day can go awry like that, right? You can have one plan at the beginning of the day, get to the end of it, and nothing you planned.
Exactly. And it's so defeating, right?
Yeah.
And it's because we just don't have the right systems. So
Yeah, I hear that from a lot of people, just as I have all the intention in the world, but my business is so busy. I have team, maybe they're putting out fires and the working on the business gets away from me.
yes. Yes.
So what do
And
you
progress
see?
gets away.
Progress gets away. And that's what I think us as business owners, um, especially women business owners, we like to achieve, we like to cross things off the list, right? Be able to
Yes.
check off that list. And if
Yeah.
you're not able to check off the things on your list, it can be a little demoralizing.
Yeah.
So when you see people not take advantage of something like this calendar and be able to help themselves, how, what, I'm like, what is even that question? What does their business look like year over year?
So it looks like spinning wheels.
Mm.
So they're not getting where they want to go. They're not realizing the growth that they were hoping for because they're not putting action behind the goal.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of, it's a lot of it is the goal's really big and they don't know how to break it down into smaller steps that make sense. So that's part of it too. But it's I think what I get from people is that they feel like they are really busy. They're doing an awful lot, but they're not getting anywhere.
Yeah. I say all the time that busy is not a good business.
No.
And I think that's something we pull if you've worked in corporate or worked for anybody else. You're almost taught to be busy because
Right.
nobody wants to see you not busy, right?
Right.
Don't you love it? You're not busy. And I remember I even had a story of a gentleman that got a promotion over me one time. And part of that was like, well, he's always at his desk at 7:30. And I went, reading the paper. But he was busy.
Hey, fake it, right?
Right?
Look busy,
But
right?
it just doesn't translate in entrepreneurship, does it?
No, not at all.
Yeah. So when you've first off, let's talk about this. Like, how easy is it to use this calendar? Like, how easy can somebody pick it up and put it to work in their business?
Yeah. So in my opinion, it's very easy because the instructions are in the very beginning. As a matter of fact, I have mine, you know. So right in the beginning, there's 2 pages of instructions.
Oh, so it's almost step by step then.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's full of stuff that an owner, entrepreneur might already have in their head, right? You're just pulling it out.
They've got it in their head. They've got it on their to-do list. They don't have it broken down between thing, and they probably have more initiatives than they should. And so I say you have 6 silos per month, but you can really only have 3 focal points, right? You can have extra silos for like dumping ground, where you just take those thoughts that are in your head and you write them down so you don't forget them.
Good ideas.
Yeah, right. Because we always have them because
always.
It's an occupational hazard. But that way, you can even put your personal life like in one. But this way, it gets it out of your head. So it's not taking up all that space. And then you can go over your calendar and go, okay, here's when I'm going to work on this. And here's when I'm going to work on that. And I color code my calendar. So, I can see it.
I think there's a benefit in what you were just sharing that's important to note. The getting it out of your head. Because I find that when people try to keep everything in their head, they miss a whole lot of opportunity.
Right.
Like the brain you will eventually hit max, right? You will hit tilt. The brain can't handle or think or be strategic
at all. And then what happens is then you freeze, you sort of get panicky, and then your brain doesn't work at all. So, because physiologically, that's what happens. Your brain just sort of goes into protection mode. And so you're not able to problem solve. So getting things out of your head, being able to look at them, having them broken down, there's so much clarity that it makes it easier, frankly, to accomplish those things and cross them off. Now I don't cross off. I use a highlighter so I can still see what it is, but I've gotten it done, And there's also a column for celebrating in here, so you can write things to celebrate.
Important.
And
so important. I had a client call right before this, and she was like, "They signed my largest contract ever," and I was like, "Where's your dance party button?" Because all my clients got a dance party button, so they can just 30 seconds, which is actually really long, but it's that celebration part because your body and your mind will do more of whatever you celebrate.
That's
whatever
right.
you focus on, right? It's a training tool.
Right.
So tell us, and for anybody that's just joining us, I'm talking with Diane Helbig, and we're talking about her free gift as part of the Grow, Profit, Scale gift giveaway. If you want to grab it, if something you've heard so far has been really luscious, and I will tell you, changes lives. You need this gift. Just type in giveaway into the comments when you see it, and we'll make sure that you're in. But we're talking about your gift. It's the Silos Program Calendar, and it's really meant to help people go from all the good intention in the world to actually seeing something happen. Yes. So talk to me, give me a couple stories of just what you've seen. Give me the most reluctant client story going into it and what happened on the end. Because I think everyone thinks they have to be perfect, right, going into it. But I think we're all flawed in one way, shape, or form. But what was that transformation? What did that look like?
So it can be slow, and that's okay. What I have found is that with clients who are reluctant, we take it very small pieces at a time. Like we will take one thing that they are trying to accomplish, and we will just say, just for one day, just plan out your day just for one day. Don't do the whole week. Don't do the whole month. Don't do whatever. Just do that one day, and then let's revisit it that night or the next morning. Let's just see how it went. And then we compare it to how things used to go, went previous to that. And they start seeing the difference, and they can feel it. And so it doesn't really matter how reluctant you are. If you're willing to try it, even just for one day, there is a feeling you get when you are accomplishing things that for weeks you haven't gotten to, because you're doing the easy stuff, and you're not moving forward. And then we just do one more day. So they have to get used to the whole process, because it is different. It is new for a lot of people. Once they get used to it, they love it. And then, they're carrying it around with them.
So what are some of the things that you've seen people be able to achieve by using this calendar?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that I've seen people achieve is being able to put the final nail in, what do I want to call it? Like a responsibility that they have had, that they've been like carrying with them, because it's really not something they really wanted to do, but they knew they had to, like taxes, like getting my QuickBooks up, to date. That's one example I can think of actually off the top of my head, with a client who's like, went all year, didn't do them, then had to sit down and do them. So it's like, okay, let's change that. Let's get this. And then it's amazing for them. And then they're like, wow, this is so much easier. This is so much better. I don't have that stress and that weight of, well, now I'm going to have to carve out 2 whole days just to get caught up. They don't have to anymore.
I always think of that moment of when you're carrying around something you should do, but don't want to do, but can't have to do, those things. Yeah. Every day that you carry it around and don't address it and don't just get it done, it's like your Ebenezer Scrooge forging the links of chain, and every day you're having to pull it along. It really does feel that heavy. And you don't realize it until you get rid of it. And then you're like, I can breathe again.
It's exactly right. It's like a weight is lifted off your shoulders. But until you do it, you can't even imagine that. Right? So
you're so true. I think, ladies and gentlemen, this is why this is a very popular gift as part of the giveaway, is because people see that. And I think especially over the last couple of years, people have come to life with some different expectations. They want things to flow differently, looking for a little more ease, a lot more return for your efforts and what you're doing out there. So you don't want to miss this giveaway. Diane, what makes you excited about this giveaway? Why should people jump on in?
Oh my gosh, because it's liberating. It is absolutely liberating. And I know I can say that because I use it, and I know that it works, and I do it with my clients, and they see that it works, but it really helps you move your business forward, because it gets you out of that rut of going through your days and your days running you instead of you running them.
Yeah, which is just the classic problem for people that are at the point of being able to scale, but not quite ready because their attentions are elsewhere. So I want to thank you so much for joining us. And guys, like I said, growprofitscalegifts.com. You can type in giveaway into our comments and we'll get you right on in. So Diane, thank you so much for joining us. I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
All right. Very good.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. And as we work this, we've got our next guest here. So I'm going to bring in Carolyn. Let's see. Okay, one more button. So many buttons to push. So many buttons to push. Well, howdy and welcome. So we have our second guest here. And Carolyn, forgive me, is it Shadrich? Am I saying
Shadrach. Yeah, it sounds like a K. You had it right. Shadrach.
Yeah, I thought it could be. So I'm glad there. But I want to introduce you to Carolyn. She is owner of the Core Story Branding. And she is that gift that I talked about early on that is about working within LinkedIn. And Carolyn, you said this to me when we had a conversation a couple weeks ago about not allowing the social media system to use you, but creating a system Like, can you share that tidbit before we get started, and then we'll get into some really good stuff? Because it was like, I wish I had a pen and paper to write it down when you told me that.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it's not letting the system run you. It's like you letting you work the system, basically.
Oh,
right.
Wow. And that's your free, that's one of the things that your free gift does. We'll talk about in a little bit. But let's start off, give an introduction, tell people what it is that you do to help business owners.
Yeah, so thanks for that introduction, Leslie. I'm really happy to be here. So yeah, as you said, my name is Carolyn Shedrack. So my company is called Story Branding. And really what I do is I work with coaches and consultants who do amazing work. Like, they literally have amazing results for their clients, but they just want to have a system in place where they can consistently find more clients that are in alignment with their own values. And that's really what I help them do. Because, one of the things that why I'm passionate about doing that is because, so I had like 2 decades in corporate before I started working with entrepreneurs. And like in my own life, by the time I left corporate, I was just completely burnt out. I mean, just emotionally and physically burnt out. Like I like it affected my health. And what I found was that it was only through working through like a series of holistic coaches, life coaches, energy healers, that really helped me to turn things around. And the traditional route of going through regular doctors, they just wanted to put me on literally medication for life. Like, whether I was well or not, like, I would have had to take this medication, and it just didn't feel right to me. But it was only through working with these alternative coaches, really, that I saw that there was a different possibility. Like, they made me aware of things that I just didn't know. And that's why I love working with coaches who want to make an impact, because the truth is that you can't have change if there's no awareness, right? Awareness is that first step, right?
It is so true. And you share your corporate story. And I remember a time when I was working corporate, I read an article in Real Simple, and the pull-out quote was, "I found my job to be toxic to my soul." And I was like, there it is, black and white. This is what I needed to see. And that probably was that moment for me that I was really like, okay, God, if it's not this, then what? And led me to being an entrepreneur. So thank you for sharing that. So we're talking about social media, and I love this gift. And today's topic is scalability, because for a while in your growth phase, you're going to be able to do a lot, but you're going to get to this point in time where you have to work smarter, not harder or longer or, do more, but you've got to work smarter if you're going to be able to go to that next level. So I think your gift that you're sharing as part of the gift giveaway is right in line with that thought process. So tell me, what are people getting wrong with LinkedIn and social media? Like, what are they coming to the table with them maybe malaligned?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I love that you had that quote actually of working smarter, not harder, because I was literally just listening to something where we were talking about the same thing. Because I don't know about you, but growing up with my parents, there was always that thing, you have to work hard, and as entrepreneurs, we always think we have to do everything, we have to work hard, and and we end up easily working more hours in our own business than we did when we were in corporate, because you're taking everything on. And so with this gift, with this method that I have in the giveaway, it really helps coaches to put a system in place where they can do less, first of all, because once they put it into place, it can start to go on autopilot. But there's so many genius things about it. But what I love about it is that it's really about creating relationships through social media. Like, I have a real kind of love-hate thing with social media anyway. So I want something to do the things for me, but do it in a way where it's very personal and targeted, right? Yep. And grows relationships. And that's what this does. Because what I found, what I was seeing was a lot of people they do one thing, but they don't connect the dots. So like, I had friends who like were out there all the time. Like, I saw them all the time on video, and I'd start to feel guilty. Like, oh my God, I'm not doing this stuff. They're doing all these things. But then I'd ask them and say, okay, so, you're getting clients from it. And they're like, not really. But you know what I mean? And there wasn't the things connecting the dots. And so with this gift, when people kind of go for it, you'll be able to see how there's really 4 things that you want to have in place to make social media work for you. So you don't have to be out there all the time, so that you are connecting the dots. You're not just kind of going out there and kind of throwing spaghetti in the wall and hoping that somebody's going to see you, that's going to be your ideal client. This really gives you a path so that you can put all the things in place, so you're getting in front of the people who are in alignment with your values, who you've literally targeted them as being the people that you want to get in touch with, to grow your business. But on the backside, there's all the follow-up as well. Like you need to kind of make sure that you are positioning yourself correctly, that you have your profile sorted out, that you have, you're thinking about what are your end goals that you want to get to, who are the people that you want to target, and what are they interested in? Like what can you put out there that's really going to make them attracted to you, so that you can start being on top of mind. But in addition to that, you also need a mechanism. So you're literally doing a push and pull. It's not you just kind of putting things out there and waiting for things to happen. You're actually actively going out there and finding the people that you want to be in touch with.
So let me kind of, I guess, reflect back what I'm hearing. So first off, if you're out there doing social media and you're not seeing anything for all your effort and time, this is likely something that can help.
Definitely.
And I loved what you said, is that automation with personalization, because that's a huge proponent of what we do. We automate a lot because we're a small team, right? But we have big dreams. I think right now, if you're on LinkedIn, you are barraged with buy my stuff, and direct messages. So that's not what we're talking about here, right? We're not prescribing to that, because I know so many people that just, I don't know, it's aversion instead of attraction.
Exactly. And it doesn't work. I mean, how many of us have had like hundreds of email, those messages in our inbox and say, hey, thanks for connecting with me. Like I do, I'm like an amazing person, and you definitely should make an appointment with me because we need to connect with me. Like what?
I feel like it's that dog and pony show where they're like, da, 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 da. But yeah, it's so bad that I really screen who I accept as a connection anymore. And if you're coming serving my industry, I likely am not going to connect with you because I know what's coming next. So if that doesn't work for you, like it doesn't work for me, it sounds like it doesn't work for you, this gift is going to show you just a way that you can keep it authentic, because we are in the age of relationships. We are in the age of collaboration and partnership, where we're treating each other as
humans
and
right?
humans. Oh, yeah. Goodness gracious. Right. Well, we're not trying to get the best of each other. That's not the name of the game. The name of the game is helping each other be the best in whatever our relationships are. So I really
exactly. And I think right now it's even more important than ever, because there's so many things that are kind of converging at the same time, like all of us have been kind of cooped up with COVID, that you're not kind of getting out and literally seeing people so much anymore, right? And then you've also got the whole thing with what happened with, with Apple and with cookies and, with Facebook and stuff. And so a lot of those things aren't working anymore, right? And people really want to connect with people that they just like being with, right? And so you need to kind of take the time to find out who they are, first of all. Right. And then that's when it works. And it also becomes a lot more fun, because a lot of the clients that I work with, they're moving from one-on-one, they're kind of growing their business, but they still want to work with people that they enjoy being with. Right. And so when you are a coach, you've all had that feeling when when you have that client who's just draining, like they literally kind of drain the life out of you, and you just feel that sinking feeling, and it's just soul destroying. It gets back to that kind of toxic corporate environment that we're talking about, that you want to avoid. And so that's really what this system will help you do: be able to find people that you actually want to work with, that you can start to grow together.
So, guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the Grow, Profit, Scale gift giveaway. My guest, Carolyn, is sharing an amazing system to really get more from your LinkedIn and social media marketing efforts, that develops relationships, that keeps treating people as people and honoring and respecting them in that way. Carolyn, share, because we just have a minute or two, but share with me, like, some of the successes that you've seen come of this, maybe even some of the ones that I always think people go, oh, well, that's so-and-so, they always win at everything. I love hearing like almost the underdogs that, they didn't think this could work. Like, what kind of successes have you seen for those kinds of people?
Yeah, that's a great question. So a lot of the people that I've worked with, or actually some of the people, especially in the beginning that I worked with, have actually tried LinkedIn before and it didn't work for them, you know, because they were doing, you know, one of the techniques like we talked about where, you know, it was literally taught, you go out and you do this thing and you just try to sell your stuff, or it's a numbers game, you're spamming all these people. And so what I really loved was that when Lisa came in, she had been doing all that stuff and we kind of rolled it back.
Rolled it back.
Rolled it back. And, you know, from working through the system, she was able to get some great people into her certification program. She'd had a certification program that she'd been doing for, you know, I think 15 years, but was always struggling to find the right people to, you know, to bring on board. And through using the system, she was able to kind of really get in front of the right people that she wanted to bring on board for her certification. And I think she was shocked by the results because, like I said, she'd been out there doing all the things and, you know, the videos, but she just had missing, you know, she didn't have the pieces connected. Like she was literally doing all the videos and stuff. And that's what I love about this, because we've all seen that thing where people are just spamming people, and it's just, you know, people do it to me all the time. And I'm like, is this working for you? Like, do you really do this?
Like, if you can get them to respond, right?
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Kind of as a parting last words, why should somebody come into the gift giveaway and check out the over 30 amazing gifts that we have?
Yeah, that's a great question, you know, because this is just an amazing giveaway, and not all giveaways are created equal. Like when I saw the lineup that you have, I was really excited. There's loads of people in there that I know, and just seeing the people that you have attracted here, you know that you're going to be in good hands. And I think that's important. It's important to make sure that you know, whenever you kind of sign up on for something, that you are with people that are in integrity. You know what I mean? And I think that with the people that you have on board, like I know their integrity, and I think that's one of the things that has become really important to me. It's kind of funny. I was thinking about this yesterday. Like when I was in corporate, we would always we'd have these things called, I used to call them like corporate therapy, where we would talk about the values of the company and how, you know, the company was doing this. And it always sounded like kind of BS to me, basically, because we would talk about it, but you weren't really kind of living it. But as an entrepreneur, I realized it becomes really important, because if you are not in integrity things, you won't do it, right? Because it just doesn't feel good. And so what I'm really excited about with this giveaway is that there are so many people that are really passionate about what they do, and you'll just be in great hands.
There are so many geniuses here at the table. So thank you for that. Thank you for joining. Guys, part of the giveaway, all you've got to do is put a comment in here. You can go ahead and go to Grow Profit Scale Gifts if you want to.com and check us out. But Carolyn, I'm going to say goodbye. It was so nice to see you in person. And thanks so much. So I'm going to go ahead and hide away, Miss Carolyn. And we already have our last guest for today in the area. So let me push the 1,000 buttons that I have to push to bring her on. And yay!
Hooray!
I want to know where the crystal ball is. Where's my dance ball?
I can't tell you how many people I've already told about the 30-second dance party button. I have a whole group of women that I've been dancing with every single day since the pandemic started. We just hit our 2-year anniversary. And the big sadness is you can't get the 30-second dance button in the UK.
Oh, no.
They're all going to be shipped here to me, which is in Hawaii, which is not much easier to get stuff shipped to me either. And then I'm going to package them all up and ship them to one person in London, and she will distribute them globally across the EU and the UK. So yes, thank you for that. The other half of my office, so what you see here is, of course, the law firm on this side, but the other half is full-on dance parties. So pin lights, sparkly wallpaper. If I could easily spin, I got to put my laptop Susan.
So I was telling everyone earlier, and I know our first guest, Diane, talked about the power of celebrating in your business and why it's so important. I mentioned the 30-second dance party. And it's only funny because it's an authentic German voice who goes, 30-second dance party. And then 30 seconds, and you have like 6 songs to choose from. I send them to all my clients. And Layne had shared in our group that she has a crystal ball and dance studio.
Not a crystal ball, a mirror ball.
Mirrored ball.
Mirror ball.
for dancing in her office. So great introduction, by the way. Layne, if you're not going to believe this, oh my gosh, Layne is a lawyer. Can you just not that typical, but lawyer spirit? And I love it. So Layne is going to talk a little bit about protecting your business and trademarks and really making sure that your business is prepared. And Layne, earlier on, I was telling people, I was like, a lot of this stuff, do you need absolutely on day one? No. When you're figuring out, do you need it? Not yet. But when you've landed, when you've got your flag in the ground, like this is who you are and what you do, you need to get protected. Because I've even had, a colleague of mine that was doing something she's known for doing, who got a cease and desist letter. Cease and desist. I'm not speaking. And then there's an app that I have that was using one name, got a cease and desist letter. It's like, you don't want to invest all of this time, energy, blood, sweat, tears, soul, and not be protected. So I'm really excited that you're here. Share with us just a little bit more, if there's a little more on what you do for people and what brought you into the challenge or the giveaway.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Leslie said, I've been a lawyer for 26 years. I help women grow their businesses. So I believe that when you're in fear, kind of looking over your shoulder, or most of my clients, enough to know that there is so much that you don't know, that you don't even know, but you know enough to know that you need to get it handled. Yeah. So that's really my sweet spot. And Leslie kind of did a great intro talking about contracts and trademarks, what the gift for the giveaway is. Let's focus on just the first step, right? The legal foundation that you need to get started. So the gift is set up. If you have a website, this is what you need. If you work with clients, this is what you need. So that whether you are a coach, freelancer, designer, course creator, my God, do not put a course out there without having the proper protections on it. Yeah. Don't start coaching people and selling your services and giving them advice without having things set up. So I will maybe gently disagree with your earlier statement that you
valid point. Valid point.
Just because I've seen the horror that happens when we don't have our legal protections in place. And I think it's one of these things that's on most people's to-do list, but they don't necessarily get it handled. And it's something that I make it so easy to do. You get your contracts, you put them in, and you never have to think about it again. So this isn't something like funnels or LinkedIn. We just were talking to Carolyn about LinkedIn. It isn't something that you do over and over. It's something you do literally all one time, and then you have it set up forever the way that you need it. Of course, as you grow, probably going to need to add more structures to your business, but we're talking about this base foundation, right? And I
don't want to totally retract my statement from earlier, because you're right. And we just had a case in Texas come up with a fitness, kind of an Instagram fitness coach who's being sued by the state, not even individuals, by the state, for not delivering what she said she was going to deliver. And I was because obviously I'm going to read this, I'm closely related. And I was reading through it and I was like, they're going to ask anywhere from $250,000 to $1 million in damages on behalf of all of these clients that feel like they didn't get what they were sold. And I think there is so much emphasis on the marketing and getting it out there that you've got to make sure, especially in almost any industry, that your bases are covered, that you're acting within the properties of the law. Because, wow, that's stressful. Can you imagine? She changed her business and there's still, she closed that one down, started a new one, and they're still prosecuting, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And, I hear people sometimes say things like, just to tie into what you're saying, I can't afford to get legal in place. And I say, you can't afford not to. Look at what happened, right? And I get new clients who come to me all the time, courses completely swiped, programs completely stolen. I had somebody come to me a couple of months ago with $7,000 of unpaid invoices from 2021. $7,000, that's money that she already earned and didn't collect and can't collect. And so it's not just this legal hot water. I mean, what you're talking about, right? Going outside of what you're supposed to be teaching, which is super important when you are in the health and fitness industry, when you are doing mindset work with people. And when you're advising other people on their businesses, whether you're a business coach or a marketing strategist or even a web designer, to make it really clear that just because you're working with me doesn't mean I'm going to guarantee any future earnings on anything that you do. So got sensitive areas. We've got to be careful when we're working with other folks to make sure what our scope is. Not just because of the legal hot water. I get that. And that is the doom and the gloom and the stuff that happens, but also from a place of let's set it up properly. So we have the same expectations so that when a new client comes into my business, she knows what she knows what's expected of her, and she knows what I'm going to deliver. And I'm not leaving gaps, because when people don't have a written agreement and they leave the clients to fill in the gaps for them, I just see this time and time again. Clients, especially when money is changing hands, clients will fill in the blanks of their expectations of what you're going to deliver with way grander expectations than you're going to deliver time and time, especially when money is changing hands. People just fill in the blanks with their imagination of, oh, she's going to come to my house and she's going to cook dinner. I'm like, really, you're not. So when we have a written contract, it's a real turnaround for my clients who know now that this is a friendly gesture. This is something that I'm helping the relationship. We're setting up things from the beginning with trust and harmony and everyone on the same page, so we don't get into those situations where we have unmet expectations and then disappointment or 1-star reviews. We don't have to go there. So we're going to set it up right from the beginning. And it's not just for beginners, it's for anybody who has a business and has kind of fast forwarded the legal piece and never in order, which is more than half of my clients are women who have been in business for 3, 5, 7 years. Just skip this part. So the checklist, which is my gift in the giveaway, is going to make it super easy. It breaks it down exactly what you need. If you have a website, you need this. If you work with other people, you need this, so that women are empowered to take that first step. And then the next step, legal can be intimidating.
Well, and I love what you said earlier when you're like, if you're always looking over your shoulder because you're worried, chances are this is the gift you need to get. But it's so very true is that being, Brene Brown says it, right? Being clear is kind.
Clear is kind.
And a legal agreement is clarity. Because my first business was interior design and construction. And I knew if we were all on the job site and we all said, does everyone understand? Seems like a really good question, right? You're asking people to ask questions. And if that question got asked, I knew we were in trouble, because everybody fills in the blanks.
That's right.
If nobody's asking questions, then I'm like, then let's go back, let's state. And then make sure we're all on the same page. And that's all this is doing. It's just bringing clarity to your agreements, to your relationships, and how you do it, because nobody wants to not get paid. That's not fun. And there's you can't write it off. It does it as a service business. There's not even any tax benefit for you.
No, somebody wants income. All their hard work to get swiped, which is the big thing, is content. Used to be just like a blog post here and there, but now it's whole programs by former students, by former beta testers who say, oh, well, you know what? That was kind of easy. I can go do that. And then they go and they do it. And they don't even sometimes change the branding. I have some, I see it all, right? I'm like, I'm the arson inspector who gets called in when there's a fire, right? Nobody's inviting me to their birthday party. It's all about when the stuff hits the fan, what happens? And so this is not even about protecting yourself from terrible things. It's about setting up your foundations properly so you can grow and scale on top of that, so that if you get the base layer, the foundation of your business set up properly, and do it once, do it right, never think about it again, then you can build whatever you want on top of it, right? You can really, really scale yourself. But when you've got these holes in the basement or the foundation of your business, you don't need to be talking about funnels if you don't even have a privacy policy in place, right? If you're, don't be talking about what color you're going to make your website and how pretty it's going to be if it doesn't have a website terms and conditions and privacy policy on it. We've got to have the basics. So that's what the checklist is about. It's about guiding you right into the basics, the very, very first step. And if you've got everything handled on the checklist, then just make a little check and just be like, yep.
Know where you're doing well and where you need to fill in the holes, like you were just saying, being able to do that. So it's an amazing gift, because I think people just need to see. I love that you've got it classified by, look, if you've got a website, you need these things. If you're working with clients, you need these things. Because I can tell you early on, I think it was one of those things that happened to us where I was like, and guess what needs to happen now is that I develop tools all day long, and they're not on the market. They're not out there. It's just one of my gifts. And I had somebody in my workshop take the tool and start incorporating it into her stuff. And I'm like, well, but it's not yours. and sometimes some of this stuff, it's just, I don't always think that people are malicious. They're just clueless. They just don't think. But if you set the terms,
they don't realize where the inspiration came from, maybe. But when you set it up properly to protect your content, and then we see somebody out there with your exact tool that you know, in your example, your exact tool that you're teaching, or like, I have somebody who swiped an entire dance program of a client of mine, and you've got somebody out there literally teaching the exact system or your exact tool. You can trace it back and say, look, you were in my course, and do you remember, you take a screenshot of these paragraphs. Do you remember this paragraph which said you may not create a derivative work from my work and then sell it? So it's, when you've got a solid contract, a well-drafted by an attorney, real solid watertight contract, you're able to trace it back, and you're able to resolve problems before they become drama, because nothing derails a business like a bunch of drama that you, like this fitness woman in Texas, right? She had to shut down her business.
Yeah. And it really, I mean, even if you don't have to go that far, it's just a lot of stress that you just don't need on top of everything else. So, Layne, why do you think somebody should come into this giveaway? What have you seen so far that's impressed you?
Oh my gosh, well, don't reinvent, well, 2 words, free gifts. And that's
always good.
Really, there's no reason for entrepreneurs to reinvent the wheel. When people are offering you their tried and true successful tips for how to handle things, use that. Like, everybody's like, oh, I want a business coach. Here you go. You've got nearly 30 women, nearly 30 contributors giving you some of their juiciest, as you say, most luscious content, so that you can then use these tools and you can see if you want to go deeper and work with somebody privately, or you can just grab the gift and fill in the gap yourself. So it's an opportunity for you really to grow and scale your business right here. So to me, it's a no-brainer. And we've got such amazing contributors in the giveaway. I've been in a lot of different giveaways and a lot of different collabs with a lot of these women. And this is a wonderful, wonderful group that you put together. You've attracted like the cream.
I love to hear that. We've been impressed with everyone that's come to the table. And like Carolyn shared, it's about being in integrity, and that's so key.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I got all out of focus. I coughed and I got out of focus. But I want to thank you for being here. Really, guys, this is one of those things. We're going to do 2 more lives next week with some more contributors, 6 more contributors, but there's 30 plus. I could probably spend all day long talking to you about just some of the goodness that's there. So, Layne, I'm going to say adios for now. Enjoy the rest of your day, because it's still early in Hawaii, isn't it?
That's right.
But thanks for coming on, and we'll be talking with you soon.
Okay. Have a great afternoon. Aloha.
Bye. So guys, that's 3 more of our contributors that we've shared with you today. We had Diane talking about her Silos program calendar to really help get things out of your head and onto paper and actually done. So you can check that off your list, or like she said, highlight it so you can celebrate it. We had Carolyn, who talks about really making the system of like LinkedIn working for your business in a way that's authentic and feels good. So you're not one of these sleazy direct mail bomb people, but you're actually caring about the people. You're treating them with respect and with honor and learning about them. So I love that gift. And then Layne, who set me straight, really brought it together with just thinking about protecting your business. The business that you are building is probably one of the things outside of maybe your family that you will ever put so much time and effort and money and hopes and dreams into. Why not protect it? So she had that great checklist so that you can go, I have this is what I need to protect it. I have that, this is what I need to protect it. So you can get all of these gifts that we highlighted today. Plus, like I said, we have over 30 of them just waiting for you as part of the Grow Profit Scale gift giveaway. So if you're in, just type giveaway in our comment section. We'll make sure that you're getting in. And until next Tuesday, I'm Leslie Hassler, owner of Your Biz Rules Business Coaching and the host for the Grow Profit Scale gift giveaway. We'll be talking with you